Sorry.
Yeah, Rick.
I had to do hair and makeup. What can I say?
I know. Usually we go live. Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Gina B here with Mama D.
Mama D.
Yay! And I thought she wasn't going to be with us, and then she appeared at the last minute and just made my night. So I'm really thrilled.
No.
But we have a really, really busy, packed show tonight with Mike Ricksecker. He is with us. I'm going to play his bio video. He will be with us as soon as it ends. What we are going to do tonight is show a ton, and I mean a ton, of pictures. So if you are listening to any of our Anchor FM venues, I implore you to go to our YouTube channel and watch the show. If you're listening later, or even now, if you're just listening, you want to watch this one.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a minute. Good evening, I am Gina B, and the place to be is here with me and Mama D every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here in the Fox Den. And tonight with us is Mike Ricksecker. He is the author of the Amazon best-selling A Walk in the Shadows, a complete guide to shadow people, and the historic paranormal books Ghosts of Maryland, Ghosts and Legends of Oklahoma, Campfire Tales Midwest, Ghosttorian Case Files, and the Encounters with the Paranormal series. He has appeared on multiple television shows and programs as a paranormal historian, including Travel Channel's The Alaska Triangle, Discovery Plus's Fright Club, Animal Planet's The Haunted, Bio Channel's My Ghost Story, and Ren TV's Mysteries of Mankind. Mike also produces his own internet supernatural-based shows on the Haunted Road Media YouTube channel, and is the producer and director of the docuseries The Shadow Dimension, available on several streaming platforms. On Tuesday and Wednesday nights, he hosts The Edge of the Rabbit Hole and Beyond the Shadows live stream shows, respectively. Haunted Road Media is his own paranormal and supernatural book publishing and video production company, representing a number of paranormal authors, winning an award for excellent media in the paranormal field at the 2019 Shock Fest Film Festival. Mike's historic paranormal articles have been published in the Baltimore Sun, Paranormal Underground magazine, and he previously wrote an Oklahoma City paranormal column for theexaminer.com. His work has also been featured in the Oklahoman, the Frederick News Post, Marshall University's The Parthenon, and Louisiana State University's Civil War Book Review. He now hosts many of these articles along with informational videos and learning courses on the Connected Universe Portal website. And we welcome you to the Fox Den, Mike. Hi, Mike. Thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're no problem. Wow, you have a wonderful microphone. We have to talk about your microphone. I need your microphone. I was actually having issues with my microphone before we started the show. I had to do a test on our test page to check and make sure that it was working.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't. So hopefully it stays on there. Hi, everybody. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Jonice. Hi, Tammy. Guys, share the show. But again, I'm going to say it one more time. If you're listening on any of our Anchor FM venues, just audio only, please go to the YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. Watch this show. We're going to show a lot of pictures. Now, okay, according to your bio video, Tammy says, "Hi, Mike. The pictures of Egypt were amazing." Yes, we're going to get to that. So we're gonna go through the paranormal stuff like really quickly. You've been doing this for a million years now.
yeah, quite a few years.
All right, you put out books, like I say, like Joni Mayhan puts out books. It's like you think of something, and the next thing you know, it's out, it's published, and there you go. You know. So what started you on that? Like just the writing and putting out the books.
The writing, I've been writing ever since I was like 7 years old. That's been in my blood forever. So really, I got started with mystery writing when I was a little kid. I loved the Encyclopedia Brown books, so I was trying to mimic those. So I was writing little mystery stories, and I did write a little bit of like paranormal fiction, some ghost stories, and if you can imagine, historic fiction as a 7-year-old, which was just kind of like little Revolutionary War stories of George Washington and a lieutenant, and the artwork with stick figures, sort of thing. But yeah, that's always been a part of my blood. So the first book that I actually published was a mystery novel. But I had written some like paranormal short stories and things like that, and my publisher for my first paranormal book, Ghosts of Maryland, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know you're writing fiction, but I see that you also have an interest in the paranormal. Would you be interested in writing a nonfiction book?" They were expanding their line of paranormal books and wanted to know if I would take on the state of Maryland. It was like, absolutely. So that kind of catapulted me into all of this.
Awesome. And then how did you start Haunted Road Media, like doing your own productions and everything? And representing
I'd been doing paranormal videos on YouTube for a while when I started Haunted Road Media. I started doing that like probably around 2010, 2011, something like that. And it was a problem with YouTube back in the day where you could get click bombed, and what that was somebody could come onto your video and just start hitting all the ads and making it look like you were just trying to, up your ad revenue. And so, YouTube would flag that. And after so many times of somebody doing that to you, they would terminate your channel. And so that happened to my original channel, which was really
horrible. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. So in order to come back to YouTube, one of the motivations was Haunted Road Media. It had already been in the back of my mind to actually do a production company, but with the book side of it, because it's also a book publishing company.
Right.
I had a number of people for years asking me for advice in how to get started with writing, how to get published, and all that. And so I would give them some advice and kind of throw them to the wolves. But it kind of dawned on me around the same time, well, instead of throwing them to the wolves, I know the whole process. I could just take them through it and be their publisher. And so
we can send people, because I have, I read a book a week for my show. And then, and a lot of them are self-published and everything, and they have a hard time. And then they're, looking for someone else to do their next one. Are you only doing paranormal people, or can you do any kind of book?
I take a variety of different people. Right now, I'm not taking submissions, though. I'm pretty much booked out for the rest of the year.
Okay, all right. Just
let us know when you are, because we
have people. We have a lot of them. So we're always we remember our people and we try to help them. So
right.
That's the main thing about.
Well, and that's the whole idea.
Yeah, is to help the community and help the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now, shadow people. You saw a shadow people or person when you were a child. So quickly tell that story to the people that don't know. The people that do know, you do know the story.
Yeah. My first real significant paranormal experience was when I was about 8 years old. Woke up in the middle of the night, and there was this tall, dark figure standing in the corner of my bedroom. Of course, I had no idea at the time that it was a shadow person or a shadow being, or that's what you called it, or anything like that. I just thought there was an intruder in the house, and it was about to kill me, because that's what you think at that age. Fortunately, I'm still alive to tell the tale, which is great.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
Right. But it did get physical with me. It actually approached my bed, leaned over. I'm trying to scream. Nothing's coming out of my mouth. I'm staring into this black face, and there's nothing there. There's no eyes, no nose, no mouth, nothing. Everything's just black. And it actually grabbed me by the wrists, crossed my arms across my body, and then it ran off down the hall. And by then I found my voice, found my legs, ran off to my parents' bedroom screaming. They tried to console me, told me that, I just had a bad dream, but I knew I'd been awake for this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, there's that thing too now that a lot of people get this similar, the being held down and whatnot, and they're afraid. But the one thing you can move is your tongue. And I was always taught, by Chris, psychic, Chris George. He always said you can still move your tongue. If you're religious, you can make the sign of the cross.
There you go.
your tongue if you're nervous, if you're afraid. So there's there's a little light, at that tunnel when you're being held down. But as a child, you're not gonna know this.
You're not thinking of that, yeah.
Exactly. And then that's gonna probably be the last thing on your mind if this is happening to you anyway. It's just like, just help.
Right, exactly.
Panic, and help. But now I swear, because I've been, doing all kinds of things to get prepared for this show, and I've been thinking about shadow people. I bought this house, and it's haunted. It is, right? Okay. And I have different things going on different levels of the house. I've always seen a shadow person at the top of my second floor landing, go from my guest room into the porch area and back and forth. Never in my bedroom, never anywhere else in the house. And I climbed into bed 2 nights ago, sat down, I got my phone, I play my games before I go to sleep. I play Scrabble. So I play my Scrabble games, TV's on and stuff, but I had it on pause because I was actually talking to my friends before I played my Scrabble. And this thing comes out of my bathroom, black, and whizzes by out into the hall and is gone. I actually got up and I grabbed the flare. I was doing I'm looking around for this thing. I was freaking out, because it's never been in the bedroom before. Then I'm thinking, it's Mike sending shadow people.
It's like, wait a minute,
sending them your way.
Yeah, it's like they all know Mike's going to be on the show, and they're going to make an appearance.
Getting ready for me.
I'm telling you, they're like, well, then you can't just talk, because I really want to talk about the Egyptian stuff, And I'm like, well, all right, so we have to talk about the shadow people, and what now you wrote the books. Let me get that book up here. Hi. You've seen several throughout your life. Happens all the time in your house now, Mary Jane. Oh boy. So let me get.
Okay, I have a question on shadow people. Are shadow people always a negative entity?
No.
No, they are not. Most are actually just rather benign. They're just there. They move about. Many of them just watch and observe. Yes, there are some that are negative. Some are actually benevolent and will actually help people. So it just depends on the particular shadow entity.
Okay, because I know very little, if anything, about it. And I first heard about it and I was like, okay, interesting. And I used to see a shadow on my driveway, but I never got the negative feeling. I always got like, okay, they're just checking up on me, making sure everything's
just there.
good. Yeah. And
that's the way most of them are.
Okay,
right.
cool.
Yeah.
So that Shadow Dimension, that book that I put up there, the docu-series, is www.shadowdimension.com, and you can watch that. And also you had the thing on Tubi. It was on Tubi. I watched it on Tubi. I love Tubi.
Thank you. Yeah, Shadow Dimension, it's been out for a couple of months now. It's a 6-part docu-series. I have a lot of great people in it, like Carl Johnson, Johnny Enoch, Andrea Perron's in it, just a whole plethora of people. Yeah. And we are basically I'm on the lookout and trying to find the answers to these shadow entities, and go to the Conjuring House and go to Mineral Springs Hotel in Illinois, and trying to get to the root of what is actually generating these, is the portal activity that are at these particular locations. And we cover a lot of different aspects of shadows within the series. And it's running on Tubi right now. You can find it on Vimeo, Cosm. What's the fourth one? But yeah, there are a number of different streaming locations that it's on right now, and there are more options coming too.
Shadow Dimension, that is streaming now. Gotta see it. You just gotta see it. And Andrea, I love Andrea. I haven't seen her, since Rhode Island. It's like
it's been a little while.
Yeah, I know. We need to get back out there. Same with you. I was saying, we haven't seen anybody at events, and hopefully we're starting up again and getting all back out there, getting to see everybody again, and
events are just starting back up, and that's a wonderful thing, to be able to get out there and see everybody again, because it's been more than a year since seeing most people. So I know. So love the events right now.
Too long. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about shadow people, paranormal, his books, before we go on to the Egyptian?
We're like, we want to go on to the Egyptian. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
I know. I mean, we love the paranormal. We absolutely love the paranormal. Yeah. So let's see.
Everything I'm learning is not from firsthand knowledge for me. Like I say, I have a feeling I would be the girl in the room that would go screaming As much as I love my spirits and stuff, I think the moment, but Gina's going to be there and Bob's going to be there, and I'm going to hide behind Bob.
So,
Bob will be yelling too.
I'd see the comment from Tammy there, calling them watchers. She experienced shadow figures all of her life. So, so thank you, Tammy. Real quick story. Kind of on that similar note. I have some history within the book of shadow entities. I even get back. We'll be talking about it a little bit when we get into Egypt. Right. But I tell a story of Madame d'Esperance, who was a physical medium during the spiritualism movement, and she had some interesting experiences that were quite different. So she grew up in a haunted house in which she was experiencing both ghosts and shadows. She was actually afraid of the ghosts and believed that the shadows were her protectors. So when she'd see a ghost, she'd run to the shadow entities that were in her house for protection. But when she got older, got married, moved into a different house, and again, this house had some activity going on there. There were different shadows that were there, and she didn't like those shadows in this new house. So
you get that,
it just depends on the
sense,
particular shadows.
As being being your best paranormal, piece of equipment, if you get a nervous feeling, you're getting that nervous feeling for a reason. Back up, if you feel okay and safe and protected, then go forward, But
your body's your best tool. Your body's your best tool.
100%. 100%. Although I love equipment, Ghost gear, hello. We do love the equipment. I do like getting all the evidence. I like, being able to prove it, especially the people that, are like, I don't believe in ghosts and I don't believe in spirits and I don't believe in this and I don't believe in that. But this happened.
I think from everything that I'm learning, I think that our body is a tool. It's just that we can't depend on one or the other. Using them both is just like a confirmation one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And JoJo says, are some good and some bad? Yes. Some some are good and some are bad. Same with spirits and the shadow people. Like Mike has a whole bunch of different types of entities that he goes through, classifying shadow people, the hat man, and everything. That we know. Deanna, had a big part of her story was the hat shadow person.
Right.
It was bad, but doesn't mean that they're all bad. But you get this book.
Yeah, the way I like to put it is very simplistic. It's the same as with humans. Some humans are good, some humans are bad. Same with shadow people. Some shadow people are good, some shadow people are bad.
Yay.
Yeah, they each have their own agendas and personalities.
Exactly. Oh, not that one. Another one popped up. All right, excited to hear about Egypt things, homeschooling this year and doing a unit on ancient Egypt. I have always been drawn to it since a little girl. Awesome. Well, then, Mike is going to be our tour guide, and he's going to take us on his trip. Okay, and here we go. Did you see or feel anything in Egypt?
Michelle. Yes.
Yes. Awesome.
But
did you take paranormal equipment?
but I had to take an Imodium.
Oh. Did you drink the water?
Oh, definitely don't drink the water there. No. Drink bottled water. No, we ate something funny a week into it, about halfway through the trip. We ate something funny the one night, and a couple of us were feeling it the next day. So you do have to be careful. I mean, most of the food is fantastic. It's there are different seasonings that they make, and the shawarma, and some of the different chickens that they make, and rices, and just so much of the food is really, really good. The one particular night it happens.
Just didn't go down. Didn't stay
in. And it was tough to recover because we're out in the blazing sun all day. So it's like you're trying to stay hydrated, and so that you have to be careful of that when you're out in Egypt. Is drink a lot of water.
Oh my God, that's. I would love to, you went on my trip for me, because I would not be able to do it. I need air conditioning. I need cool weather. I can't be out in the blazing sun. I will just die. I can't breathe.
Well, it's cooler in the winter. It's like in the 70s out there during the winter.
Well, then I can go in the winter.
There you go.
Christmas trip.
Because we are talking about doing another trip where this time I'll be, one of the special guests along with Muhammad Ibrahim in November of 2022. So nothing's set in
really?
stone yet, but we're talking about doing that. So, and we were checking the temperatures there. It's mostly around the 70s, maybe low 80s around that time.
Right. Well, that's not bad, but I can't stand like the 90s, the hundreds, the we'll just
We were in the one teens, and it's getting kind of crazy. I mean, they're actually about to shut down their season. They have an off season during the summer, like our amusement parks during the winter will shut down. Yeah. It's kind of the opposite for Egypt, where they'll shut down for a couple months during the summer because it just gets too hot.
Right. Well, they did say that was part of deterring the grave robbers, because of the heat and stuff. So they wouldn't really be going out there in the blazing sun to rob the tombs and whatnot. So they had at least some time that they could be like, okay.
Right.
All right. So I did change the background. We are going to be talking about it. So, all right.
Because we've got a lot of questions in the chat room about Egypt. So I think as much as they want, the paranormal, Egypt is the highlight.
Yeah, we can throw a couple paranormal things in there too. We're not like out of the realm here. We do talk about
the paranormal Egypt kind of go hand in hand a bit here.
Oh, huge! Yeah, I mean that's what it's the Book of the Dead. It's everything about the dead. Hi, Bob.
Hey, gorgeous.
Hearts.
Oh, hey, Bob. Good to see you.
Yeah. Do they? Oh, there's one from Tammy. Do they believe in the paranormal over there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a big part of their culture.
Yeah. The mummies, the afterlife, the everything that they do to preserve and put forth your life. All right, here's the thing. Now, they go through all this so that they have all this stuff in the afterlife with them. And then we are the ones pillaging it and throwing it in museums.
Right.
So are we disturbing their afterlife? I mean, can we go in there and talk to the people, to the mummies, so you can not talk because they were inside? I don't know.
It's challenging. It's definitely an interesting dichotomy. Because, we are disturbing their belief system in their afterlife by taking these things out of the tombs and putting them in museums. The problem is, if we don't take it out of the tombs and put it in museums, grave robbers will.
Exactly.
So we are protecting it from grave robbers.
Yeah. But I just feel so bad about, disturbing them in their peace, and they went through so much. I mean, years and years and years of building these pyramids and tombs and the lengths that they went through.
It's sad, but we have already lost so much to the tomb raiders and tomb robbers. And you look at the Valley of the Kings, the only tomb that was found intact with all of his treasures was Tutankhamun's. Everybody else's were pillaged.
I thought part of his was robbed, like twice. I thought
there's some speculation that maybe some things were taken out, but they chalk it up to an intact tomb.
Yeah. But it's so cool. And then even the people, like the higher people, priestesses and priests and whatnot, they have had some really great burials too.
Oh, they have
with their stuff.
Tut's was one of the smaller ones actually. I mean, we love it because we were able to extract so many of those treasures, and they're absolutely beautiful. They have those at the Cairo Museum, and they don't let you take pictures of the mask or anything. There's a room that's cordoned off where you can get in there, you can view the mask and some of the other treasures, but you're not allowed to take photos in there, which is too bad.
Why is that?
I don't know.
No, that's good.
Honestly, I don't know, because it's
something to it. I can see not.
Well, that doesn't work for gold. The gold doesn't tarnish or anything like that. I think it's one of those, or
they just want to sell
exclusivity, and for that exclusivity, if you want to get in there and actually get photos, like if you're an institution or whatever, then you pay. And that is a big thing over there, to try to get into some of these different, to get special access to things or have the guards kind of turn a blind eye. You can bribe the hell out of people over there.
I know, money speaks. I mean, I saw
money speaks there, yeah.
Absolutely, anywhere. But I mean, seeing your pictures of like the streets and the cities and stuff, and where they have all the big barrels of all the whatever they sell there. It's you always see it in the movies like that, and you wonder if it's like that in real life, and it really is.
It is. If you go to the Cairo markets, it's definitely like that. Now there are a lot of streets that it broke my heart in a lot of cases. Especially there's a part of Cairo that we had to drive through because there's at the top of the mountain there. It's not even really a mountain; it's just like a big hill. Is a Coptic church that's basically set into this carved out cave, which is amazing. But you have to drive through this part of town that is specifically for the garbage collectors of Cairo. It's on the outskirts of the town, but basically they've cordoned off this area that all those that go into Cairo and collect the garbage, they basically bring it back to their homes, and they're separating like recyclables and all this stuff. And it was just like really sad to watch because here's these children playing, there's old ladies going through this stuff. Yeah, that was terrible. So you do see some nasty things like that, unfortunately. But then, like you said, you go to the Cairo markets and you just have like all these little stalls, and there's all these like spices and incense and there's knockoff designer stuff there if you want that.
Yeah, is everything bargain?
Oh yeah, you haggle them down. Yeah, the price that they say is not the price that you're going to buy it for. So
what is the currency exchange?
15 to 1. So basically for 15 Egyptian pounds, it's basically $1 American dollar.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Did you come home with
money?
Did you take
that's
money?
Yeah, I brought some Egyptian money home, but basically you tip a lot of people. So if if you use a like a bathroom at the museum, you walk in, they have people that kind of like hand you the towels, the paper towels, and all that. Yeah. You have to tip them $1, and they're very happy to take $1. So there's a lot of that. So you basically take stacks of $1 bills, and they'll take the American dollars.
And your mode of transportation. Now I have one. I think I put up here. I'm honest to God, people. I have a million pictures up here, but I think one of these that I put up before you
have our bus on there.
Not the bus. I have. All right, these I'm going to go through these really quickly, guys.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to try to find the one.
Oh, you had the horse there in the one photo.
Is that this one? Yeah.
No, it was a different one.
Come on, I know I put it up there. I thought I put it up there.
Yeah, I saw it real quick there for a moment.
Oh, all right. One more time.
There it is.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you do that? Did you write?
We did. Yeah, that was for Edfu Temple. So we spent the first 5 days in Cairo and then flew down to Aswan and spent the next week on a Nile River cruise. But we would take the day trips off of the cruise. And when we got to Edfu, to get from the boat to the temple, we took the horse carriage rides, which was really fun. Awesome.
Did you ride a camel?
I did not ride a camel. Others in the group did. I did not. That was the one afternoon. I was starting to feel some heat exhaustion. Was kind of cramping up in my stomach. So I was like, yeah, it's not a good day to ride a camel.
No, apparently not. All right, Mama, can you take that one down? I want to show some more pictures. All right, I want you to explain what some of these
sure
pictures are. All right, these are ones from you. Now, I got these pictures all in a folder, and I have to say, I wasn't sure what goes with what because this is
they're a little.
So I have them a little jumbled up. Okay,
that's all right.
They're not the right locations as what they are here. Let me get the banner off.
Well, we'll start with, because we were talking shadow people a moment ago. We'll start with the one in the upper right hand corner.
Right.
That is actually a photo. It's not my photo. But it's from the tomb of Arinifer, which is not a tomb that we went into, which is one of the nobles at the Theban necropolis. But I've used this image in a lot of my work, and it's in my book, A Walk in the Shadows, because it is a ancient Egyptian depiction of a shadow entity where they believed in 7 different parts of the soul. And honestly, depending on who you talk to, sometimes they'll say they believed in 5, sometimes they say 7, sometimes they say 9. It's interesting, it's always an odd number. But the way I was taught was 7 different parts of the soul. One of those is the shadow that will stay here on Earth. The shadow and the Ka will stay here on Earth. And then you can see the Ba birds there, which is the spirit. And those and the other parts of the soul go off to the constellation of Orion in the afterlife. So I like to use that as the depiction for the shadow.
That's amazing. And then behind you on on the opposite side of that?
Yeah, the opposite side, that's a great pyramid behind me, which we got exclusive access to there, only our group, for 2 whole hours on the summer solstice, from 5 in the morning till 7 in the morning. It was the main purpose of our tour. It was the return of the Kepler cycle, which is there are different cycles of the sun, and Kepler is basically the beginning of the new cycles of the sun, and we started that right on the summer solstice. So that was amazing.
What looks like a pile of rubble, is that outside the pyramids where it's like a calendar, and it kind of looks like just rocks in a circle? It's somewhere. I saw it on one of the shows I watched.
You're talking about. I think you're talking about Napa Playa. We did go there. They've moved that to the outside the Nubian Museum.
Oh, okay. Because that was like the original calendar-like thing. Like the one stone was for the summer solstice that faced, the.
Yeah, they call that. It's funny. They call that Egypt Stonehenge, but really it's older than Stonehenge. And so Mohammed was like, they should be calling Stonehenge England's Napa Playa.
Well, yes. And then we have like America's Stonehenge. Have you gone there? Because you're from up.
I have not been there, actually.
Oh,
you can believe that.
It's cool.
Yeah,
that is a neat place. It's a neat place to visit. And they have alpaca.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. All right, so back to this. So now this bottom one. Now that's
the bottom
Johnny?
one. That's Johnny. Yep, Johnny Enoch. And basically, what he's pointing at, this is at Esna Temple. It's a smaller temple, but it's beautiful. They've been restoring it. There's a bunch of soot that was on the ceiling, and as they're removing the soot, there's all these beautiful colors that are emerging. But this is one of the friezes that's there, and what he's pointing at here is a depiction of. You can see the round cartouche that's there, and the depiction in the middle of it is actually of a temple. But you can see it's raised up, and you can see they're using some different rods. So basically, this is a representation of them levitating the temple.
Oh, I was wondering that, because they always say, we don't know how. Now, they depict everything in picture forms, hieroglyphs, all the sanctioned writing. They have to have it somewhere on how they,
Yeah, what's interesting about that, in a lot of those depictions, you see them using these rods. We have not been able to find any of these rods. They've gone missing or been lost to time, or some people believe that they are in private collections and nobody's admitting that they actually have some of these things. It's one of the unfortunate things that has happened with antiquities, is that you have rich private collectors that have brought these into their own collections, and we got to really see some of that firsthand when we were at Dendara Temple. There's a new kind of quote unquote crypt that they've opened up, and I say quote unquote because there weren't any bodies or anything that were stored down there. It's not a crypt as in our sense of what a crypt is, but it's basically it's underneath the temple, and it's a passageway that you kind of crawl around through. But they had opened up a second one, first time in 20 years that they'd opened up. We were the first group inside of it, and as you're walking down the passage, you're seeing large blocks of those friezes of the artwork that have been removed, and you see the chisel marks, and the chisel marks are fairly fresh. So I started asking about that. Okay, where did all these go? You can see that they've been removed. Mohammed didn't really want to talk about it so much, other than yes, you're on the right track. Because these are it's his countrymen, so he's not going to disparage them.
Exactly.
But Johnny and I talked about it on the side, and he's just kind of shaking his head. He's like, yeah, basically, you're talking private collectors. There'd be a bidding war for stuff like that. So that's what they were doing over the past 20 years. Of
course.
Yeah. And what they're after are the depictions of immortality.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to know how that stuff worked.
Exactly. Now, these, I know, again, I'm just putting them together because they're two hieroglyph things, so I put them together. I'm not sure if they're in the same place or not. But
yeah, from two different temples. So the top one is from Dendara Temple, and that, to me, I included this one for you because it's kind of fun. If you see the image in the middle, you see a genie.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. There's a
Okay.
genie to
Okay.
the right of the
Yeah,
snake.
because he's
Is a
got
genie.
he doesn't have any legs. You can see there's the snake that looks like a staff, and then
Right.
yeah, the guy looks like a genie. See, I was thinking merman, because they have the Nile there, and everything is about the Nile, and that gives them life. So I was going, oh, maybe it's a mer person. Yeah.
Yeah, and
But yeah,
the one
genie probably
below
makes
it,
more sense.
yeah, well, yeah, genie, and then they have the legends of the jinn and things like that there. So,
Right, right.
so that all plays into it. That's actually on the ceiling of Dendara Temple. So
That's amazing. That is amazing.
yeah, yeah, and it still has all that beautiful blue color. You see, if you look on the blue background, you can see the stars there too.
Wow.
So you're actually looking at the night sky.
Wow. Yeah, up on the ceiling. It's just the magnitude and the size and the scale of these things are just
Oh yeah,
unbelievable.
you have no idea until you're actually standing in it. You see pictures and videos and things like that, but until you're standing in there, you just have no
Yeah.
idea how
Oh,
huge it is.
right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Definitely a dream trip for me. It really, really, truly
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I highly recommend it. And people ask me, "Oh, is it safe to go? Is it dangerous?" And it's like we were never in any danger. It was perfectly safe the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think if you go at a heightened time, maybe, with this turmoil going on, I think we're getting a little back to okay now,
Yeah.
for travel. But then again, we're still coming out of COVID. So,
Right, there's that, and people asked about that too. And the interesting thing about Egypt, okay, so they have like right now, England has red listed Egypt, but not because Egypt has like a significant number of cases or anything like that. They don't. They actually have a very small number of COVID cases. They're actually more worried about the flu in Egypt than they are of COVID. The
wow.
reason why England red listed them is Egypt isn't vaccinating people. Um, and
Oh,
and they're not vaccinating people because they're like, we don't have a problem with COVID in Egypt.
I know, but you have travelers, you know what I mean? And it's the travelers that
Right.
are the problem. So before I take this picture down, what is this bottom
Yeah,
one?
the bottom one is from Edfu Temple. When you go out the one side of the temple, that's where you get part of the Atlantis story. So
Oh,
that's what this is. Now, it
oh,
doesn't specifically spell out this is Atlantis, but it has elements of the story that were passed down from Solon to Plato. And so, we don't have anywhere the full story that had got passed down to Plato, but there are parts of it at Edfu Temple. So, I have a great video of back and forth between Mohammed and Johnny talking about the Atlantis story that I've posted to the Connected Universe Portal site. So it's a nice 15-minute back and forth explaining the Atlantis story and how it's depicted there at Edfu.
yeah. So the
And,
Connected
and there it
Universe
is.
portal. All right, you can do that. Go to
Mm-hmm.
connecteduniverseportal.com, sign up. You can get your newsletters. Is there a cost for this?
Yeah, so it's $9.99 a month. Now there are some free articles and things like that out there. So like there's a whole free Egypt recap, but to get into like all the videos and all that
And,
stuff,
and you have a lot on
it's
there. A lot.
there
Not
is a
just this.
ton in there. Yeah, $9.99 a month, but you can try it out for 30 days for free.
There you go. See, so now
Yeah.
check it out. But there is a lot. There's a lot of content, and then updating and everything as he's going. So worth it.
Hmm.
All right, I got to catch up on these um, comments here
I
because
keep trying to put all the
I'm
links in for everything that we keep talking about
oh,
Appreciate that.
into at
fabulous.
least one of
So
the
yeah, if there are any
chapters.
questions, I'll take some questions.
All
Yeah.
right. Yep.
You
Could you
have a
feel the
comment on
energy?
Michael.
And yeah, and are the tombs haunted?
Yeah, you can definitely feel an energy there. I mean, especially when you go inside the Great Pyramid, there is just no doubt about it. When you're inside there, it's electric in there. So, and there are the ideas that it used to be a power plant, like Christopher Dudd's Giza power plant. You can certainly see how it was a machine, and there's still definitely an energy that's there. And going into a lot of these different temples, it's just you start to. And part of it's probably adrenaline too, because you're going in these
You're
locations
so
and you're like,
anxious,
people were
right?
walking here thousands of years ago, and I'm walking in the same places that they were. So part of it's adrenaline, but you can also feel, the energy of the locations as well, because it's built into that. You have, a lot of these places are made of granite, which is, it's the Aswan rose quartz, which is 55% quartz. So you have that energy off the quartz. And the way that they would build these temples, you'd have the granite sculptures and all that, but the threshold of the temple would always be made in granite, so that when you're walking into the temple, is basically setting you onto the same frequency, that everybody that walks in there will be on the same frequency when they enter.
That's pretty amazing. And they did something too with the water table underneath to activate things, to make the energy go up, and the top of every single pyramid all the way around the globe has a emission of energy at the same height out of each and every single one of them. So how amazing is that? And I would love to just kind of connect the dots as to where they are, around the globe. And
they're definitely all connected
with the like ley lines and whatnot too. If that. All right, ley lines. When you were up in Alaska, the Alaska Triangle thing, and you were doing the rods and everything else up there, so highly magnetic area you found up there?
Oh,
on the ley lines. Do you think that's the problem up there?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of energy up there in a number of different ways. So, you have the... we call them ley lines. They're telluric currents, the Earth's energy grid. We call it a ley line because of the way they line up, and that's the ley. But there's definitely a lot of that type of energy that's up there. It's a very volatile area. So you have volcanic activity up there. You have seismic activity with earthquakes. So you have physical energy that's getting set off up there as well. So that combination is just, and then you have
weather.
The weather, yes, but the solar flares, with the increased solar activity, because you're up there at the very top of the world where the magnetic shield is not as strong. That's why we see, when we go up there, we see the aurora borealis, because we're getting the sun flares that are hitting off of the ionosphere, and you're actually seeing the magnetic protection of the Earth, but because it's a little bit thinner there, that's why we end up seeing all the colors and everything up there. So you're having all this increased activity from multiple areas up there, and so being in Egypt, knowing that, the Great Pyramid is on one of those major crossing points of those lines, and it's at basically the very center of the world. So
That's
so
pretty
it's highly
amazing.
energetic
But
area.
Again, not just with Alaska. How much is global warming like affecting the amount of EMF like coming through the ground or coming from the planet if it's not as covered with ice and snow?
Yeah, anytime a climate change occurs, and we've had climate change throughout the Earth's entire history. So it's different now than it was, like say during the Ice Age, and or when a meteor hit and all of a sudden crazy things happened. But yes, the climate change definitely affects the way your area of the world is going to interact with energy. So whether that's an increase in water, and water is going to, of course, be another conductor of electricity for you. So it's definitely going to have an effect.
Right? It's just crazy. All right, so we're continuing with our pictures. All right, what are these?
Okay, so what's going on here, and that's great that you put these two together. So we'll start with the bottom photo here. That's actually the base of the Great Pyramid.
Oh.
And you can see the blocks around the top and then around the left-hand side. But what's interesting about this, now, mainstream Egyptologists will say that the Egyptians leveled the entire plateau, which would be an amazing feat, and then built the pyramid on top of that, which is not exactly true. They did level much of the plateau, but they included parts of the bedrock into the pyramid as well. And that's what you're seeing here, where you can actually see the bedrock there of the plateau, and then they put the pyramid over it. So, it actually makes a more solid structure if you have, this combination of bedrock and pyramid. It does solidify the base.
Yeah,
but
you can't. You got to have a good foundation. This
for sure.
Basis of any kind of construction.
But what's interesting about this is the erosion that you can see in the bedrock that's there. It's very similar to the other photo is the Sphinx enclosure. Now there's a very, very big debate about how old the Sphinx is. Geologists will tell you that it's at least 10,000 years old, because that type of water erosion in the Sphinx enclosure could not have happened anytime before 10,000 years, or anytime since 10,000 years ago, because there just wasn't that type of water on the Giza Plateau. But 10,000 plus years ago, there was, and that would have created that erosion pattern in the enclosure. And you can see that same erosion there in the bedrock,
and that wouldn't have
around
been even
the Great
just
Pyramid.
from a flood, right? Because I mean, they had so many floods, and the floods destroyed a lot of the places that they had originally set up. Enormously high floods. They had floods every year when they would count for it. But
Yeah, this is from
so
constant rainfall.
Yeah, that can't be a flood, because that's a gouge.
Yeah, that is consistent rainfall over many, many years.
Exactly.
But what it does do is it does for sure say that yes, the the Great Pyramid is certainly newer than the Sphinx, and they try to date these things around the same time, but you can kind of see here that no, the Sphinx is much, much, much older than the Great Pyramid, but the Great Pyramid itself is definitely extremely old.
Right. That's just so huge, so amazing. That's just such an odd shape, this Sphinx,
The Sphinx, the head is too small. It's been recarved. Yeah.
It's just really weird. Like, what would be the purpose of this? I'm not sure. But now the first pyramid was that step pyramid. When was that built as comparison to the Giza pyramids?
That was before. Actually, the bent pyramid is a little bit older than the step pyramid.
That's right. Yeah, that was a failure.
Well, what's interesting about that, and this is some of the stuff that we were going through while we were there with the bent pyramid. Now, a lot of mainstream Egyptologists will say, well, they started building it too steep and then corrected themselves, where others will say, no, it was actually in the design. What's interesting is that the king that it's credited to, Sneferu, there are many people who tell you, well, no, he actually restored it. It was there much longer than they believe, and his name is very, very similar to the Egyptian word, or I guess it would be the ancient Egyptian word for sandpaper, which would be like a polishing implement. So he would have been the polisher or the restorer of the pyramid, not the actual builder of it, which is very interesting. So you can kind of see some secrets within the names. What's very interesting about the pyramids is that within any of these, whether it's step pyramid or the bent pyramid, the Great Pyramid, and the others around it, there are no hieroglyphs. So these are what we would call, like pre-dynastic, or some will say pre-cataclysmic, that these were built, before, the great cataclysm of the day.
Can you carbon date? I mean,
You can't carbon date stone. That's one of the problems.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to.
No.
Wow.
And so, people will try to look for reference material. Can we find a pot shard or whatever? And that's what a lot of the mainstream archaeologists or Egyptologists try to say. Well, we can't find any pottery that's dating back to that time. Okay. And then one of their arguments was, well, we don't have other structures that are 10,000 years old. Then all of a sudden, a few years ago, they unearthed Göbekli Tepe, and they're like, oh, that's 10,000 years old.
Well, there you go. I mean, because we're thinking what, 3-5, 3 to 5.
Yeah, they're saying, the Great Pyramid was built about 2,500 years ago by a 25-year-old king for use as a tomb. Now, with the amount of time that it would have taken to actually build the Great Pyramid, he and his children would never seen the completion of this thing. So how that was been used for a tomb is beyond me. But it was built much.
I hope.
Well, and there's a photo in there. The one that has the egg with the drawing of the pyramids.
If
you know which one that is.
Okay, let me just keep going through here.
It's
Not that one.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That is the one?
Yep. The bottom right photo there. So that's a ancient ostrich egg.
Oh, it is?
No, yeah, that's what that is.
What is this top wheel thing?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
She jumps.
I do that.
Right.
It's been making
okay.
her crazy since you sent it. So
Yeah.
But the bottom right, it's a ancient ostrich egg, which you can very very clearly see the three pyramids on there.
Yeah.
The design to the right of that, to me it looks like the Nile River, which used to run a lot closer to the pyramids. So and people drew what they saw. So okay, here are the three pyramids. Now remember, mainstream is trying to say pyramids were built 2,500 years ago. That ostrich egg, which you can carbon date an ostrich egg, is 4,500 or more years old. And the pyramids were already built there.
I put this up here bigger.
There you go.
yeah.
Wow, that is something. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Mainstream will try to say that these are mountains, but they don't have
definitely
mountains
the
that look
pyramids.
like that in Egypt.
No,
Yeah.
and it'd be covered with sand and blown away if you did. So that's wow, that's pretty amazing. All right, let's get back to this. All right, so the pottery, where's the pottery from?
Okay, the piece of pottery is from around the same time frame. Now, what's interesting to me about that is the swirl pattern on that, because we see that same swirl pattern in so many other areas of the world. We see it at Newgrange in Ireland. We see it in Sardinia. A year and a half ago, I was out in Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, and they have petroglyphs with that same design with these figures of, well, they call them star people. So
With the Mayans and the Aztecs and everything too.
exactly. You see that swirl pattern everywhere, and so it's a kind of another piece of the puzzle of basically telling us that all these different cultures were connected.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing. Okay, what's the wheel thing?
Okay, the wheel thing at the top. We really don't know what the function of this thing
Oh,
was.
come
So that's
on!
it's called the schist disc. It's actually made out of slate. If you can believe that, yeah, it's slate. But it definitely looks space aged. Tom Danley, who's a sound engineer, he did a lot of work within the Great Pyramid. He believes that this was a device to create a certain resonance.
Well,
but we truly don't know what the function was for it.
The cylinder in the center, I mean, it looks like a wheelbase, like an axle.
Mm-hmm.
You would put the rod through there, so it either, it could turn something, it could open something,
Yeah, it
could
definitely
blow in the
spun.
wind because
Yeah.
it's got wings, you know what I mean? Like maybe that would let it spin with air.
Yeah,
with
it
wings.
definitely spun. It's definitely aerodynamic. According to Danley, it's supposed to resonate with some sort of sound. Now, to me, I think it probably had some other function other than just sound. But yeah, just the fact that it is completely foreign to any other type of object that we're getting out of ancient Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with aliens. Now, everyone is saying aliens.
Yeah, aliens.
Hi, Jeff.
Well, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
It's aliens. If it
You're
looks
not
like
saying
an
it isn't,
alien-
but you're not saying it is.
But then again, all right, we have different theories. We have different theories about these things. Do they believe in reading the stars and planetary alignments like the Mayans?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. Yeah, you see that within a lot of the temples. You'll see, like I was talking about, they believed in different cycles of the sun, so we were there for the return of the Kepler cycle. You'll see, like on the ceilings of some of the different temples, moon phases. The Bin Bin stone at the Cairo Museum has the constellation of Orion is right there on the Bin Bin stone. So so they definitely believed in all of that.
Absolutely. Okay, now we're going to do this.
Okay.
Dear tour guides, kindly don't explain inside this part. We appreciate your cooperation.
Yeah, this
Little
is kind of funny. There are some locations that they would not let the guides in there to explain things. So that was one of them. That was Hatshepsut's temple. If you go back to that, I want to point something out.
Up above it,
And
with the
you
star?
can see in the hieroglyphs, you can see the star, and then to the left of that, you see the gate. So basically, this is an entrance to a stargate. And there, in Hatshepsut's temple, if you go further back into that, and they don't let you all the way back. They actually have a couple of guards there, and they'll say, "Well, I'll take some photos for you." And,
Can you bribe those?
yeah, I'm getting to that, and for $1 or $2, they'll take some photos for you. But Johnny ran up ahead of us and the rest of the people that were there when we first got there. He ran up in there. I don't know how much money he gave them, but he got past them so he could get inside to actually get the Stargate cartouche that's in there. Basically, it's a cartouche full of stars, and I know you have it on one of the slides there.
Is it this one?
See, that's another Stargate one there at the
That's
bottom.
another
That was at
Stargate.
Abydos. But okay, bottom left right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Bottom left, and that's what's inside Hatshepsut's temple
Now, what
in the Stargate area.
that's pretty awesome. That
Yeah,
is-
it's a cartouche full of stars.
yeah. Now, what's the one above this? This
The
looks
one
like
above that-
something building something or moving something.
Yeah, that's what's known as the people call it the Dendara light bulb, because it kind of looks like that. It kind of resembles it. They're not actually light bulbs though. There's actually 3 of them. There's one on the wall directly behind this too, but this is in one of the quote unquote crypts. The snakes represent energy. So anytime you see snakes like that, we're talking about energy. But the bottoms of these, where you kind of see them connected to the bulb part, those are lotus flowers, and the lotus flowers signified enlightenment. So you have enlightenment being fed into this energy, and so what in our modern eye we're seeing it as a light bulb, but basically it's an energy field that is being generated. So not a light bulb, but significant amount of energy
Well, that they
that's being
believed
created
in.
here.
But now the guy in the center that has the disc over his head. Now, doesn't that represent like the sun when you have the disc over your head?
Yeah, the disc over the head is the sun. Yeah.
So this could be some kind of a sun energy type thing. Maybe they were doing thermal stuff.
Well, yeah, they definitely worship the sun. With Ra as their sun god. So they were definitely a
needed
sun
to
worshiping culture.
They needed to get light inside these places. Actually, there was one picture. I don't know if I could find it. All right, I'm going to go bing, 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 bing through a bunch of pictures real quick.
Is that
again.
one of the sun ray that's on me?
Yes. Where?
Yeah, that was really fun to put together.
Yeah, that was so cool. Where was that? I love these ones. I absolutely adore them.
Oh yeah, those. Yeah, some of those are really beautiful.
Oh my God, your pictures
art-
were
the
amazing.
artwork.
I was just like,
Thank you.
I could raid them all. All right, where? Oh, there you were. You were on the cruise. That's the Nile. I take
That's
it.
the last night on the Nile. Yep.
Oh, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, Conehead here.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Now, is this a human that they shaped the head? Was this a ritual like they did, like Africans did? Or
This is from the Akhenaten collection, and what's interesting about Akhenaten is he's the one that tried to turn Egypt into a monotheistic society. A lot of the depictions of him are, he has a feminine-shaped body, even though he's a male. And then you see a lot of these depictions of the elongated heads. That's just one. There were others within that case in which they had the elongated heads. So, so there are a lot of people that believe, okay, was he an alien, or was he somehow related to extraterrestrials, that sort of thing.
yeah, or just wrapped from birth.
Yeah.
You know.
And you can
Now,
see
there's
the
a
bottom
star.
left there.
Yeah.
You can see a different depiction there of the Stargate, where the star is directly above the gate. So
Right.
there are a couple different ways that they signified Stargates.
Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Now, this girl, you met her on the cruise, her and
Oh yeah,
her
that's
fiance or
yeah,
husband.
that's Johnny's fiance,
Oh, that's
Shuzana.
John. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, is she tiny or is this thing huge? She's standing next to
Both.
both.
She's pretty slender,
Oh yeah,
but
but I
yeah,
mean,
there were some interesting sarcophagi there that were extremely large. Like there was one that was at least 12 feet tall that they had standing up there.
Dang.
wow. And there's an actual mummy in there?
No,
Or
it's not in there.
was?
It
There
had
was?
been, yeah.
Wow. Huh, huh, huh.
So the
But I
question is,
still
what
didn't
happened to the
find,
12-foot mummy?
yeah, I still didn't find that picture with you with the beam. No, I had it. It was in one of those pictures.
I'm sure I'll come across it.
Yeah, we'll come across it. We'll come across it. If not, I will put it on the site. Or go to Mike's go to Mike's Facebook page. Check
Yeah.
out all the pictures. All the I mean, that's what I did. I just was like, oh, I like this, and I stole a bunch, and I just whipped
Thanks.
through a bunch of throwing them together for the show, which was, I mean, it was fun. Dave says, I can't stay. His wife has an appointment. Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
He'll catch the end, but he always comes back.
yeah,
Yeah, just sketch the
Send his
replay. It's
elbow.
fun.
what's more important, the fox,
Send his elbow or the fox.
right?
You know, but I hate to be the nudge, but you know what time it is, right?
Oh, we have to go to commercial break.
Yes, we do. We
All
gotta pay the bills.
right, we're just going to do a couple quick commercials, and then we'll be right back into the Egyptian stuff. And actually, while this is playing, I'm going to try to
She's gonna find that other picture.
that other picture.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be right back. The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. He has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NEPA, and as lead in the popular local TV show Ghost Detectives, he has experience of how spirits could be seen or heard. Using this knowledge, he has manufactured equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. He is the only manufacturer of the popular lifelike trigger prop cats and dogs. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these prove to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HTO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing or moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HTO will light. It has a sound option as well. This device was used in Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that the spirits manifest using static electricity. Using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement. If a claim is footsteps in the hallway or stairwell, set the sensitivity and place the device in that area. Its band of lights will show a range of vibrations from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting the entire range. The Easy Scan ghost boxes are very popular due to the ease of use. They are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is unique and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The V-Pod has a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device. It is a must-have in your gear bag. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher. Visit www.vortexghostgear.com to view all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with ghostly excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the USA. Visit www.ghostlyexcursions.com and join us on our next adventure. Welcome to Vortex Ghost Gear's newest addition to the paranormal equipment lineup. It's called Cryptocords, and this is a musical, motion-activated, coffin-shaped box. The device works first by inserting 4 AAA batteries. Point the box with the white motion sensor in the direction you wish to monitor. Push the red power button to turn on the device. The music will sound and the light will turn on, only for a brief time as it sets itself. The box activates if something crosses or interacts within its range, stemming from the device's sensor in a V pattern to approximately 30 feet. If the barrier is broken quickly, as in if something walks in front of it briefly, the device will sound, the light will turn on, but only for a brief time, and then it will stop and reset itself. If something continuously moves in front of the device, the music will light and stay on longer. Keep waving your hand in front of the device to test that. Both the box and the music are customizable. As for the design, it can be almost anything, from our basic cross design to your team logo, to your favorite character, theme, or place to investigate, or if you have a haunted location. The music can also be almost anything. This we ask you to find and send to us. It has to be an MP3. Instrument only works best, and up to 2 minutes. If your choice will work, we'll use it. As we custom build and hand paint each box, we always ask for your patience upon ordering. We create each box with pride and send as soon as we possibly can. We have so much more to offer at Vortex Ghost Gear. We welcome you to check out the site for all the paranormal equipment available, including our trigger prop cats and dogs, where there are some new additions to the kennel: the Dome, the V-Pod, the HTO, the Geophone, and IR lights. We ask you go to www.vortexghostgear.com, and happy hunting. Most of you may know Chris Lee from being a frequent guest on the Fox Den. Chris Lee is a Canadian clinical hypnotherapist specializing in his system of past life therapy, which eliminates people's persistent aches, pains, fears and phobias, and debilitating emotions without prescriptions, medicine, unnecessary operations, nor ongoing therapy. Many of you already have his hard copy books from his Life in the Past Lane series, and some of you also know that if the books were not readily available, Chris has been very accommodating in sending those books personally. The books include Life in the Past Lane, Fears and Phobias, Aches and Pains, Crimes Against Humanity, with 2 more in the works. Book 5, History, Fact or Fiction, will be available soon. These are fascinating client true stories and testimonials confirming his system works. He can also teach you how to do a system as well. Currently, Chris is away for a prolonged period of time and is not able to send the hard copy books, but there is a silver lining. He has now made his books available as digital ebooks. To place your order, you can email Chris at book@pastliferap.com or visit the site www.pastliferap.com. While there, hit the shop button where you can see all the books and their descriptions. You will find the currently unavailable hard copy books priced at $15 plus shipping. You will also find the newly added ebooks, which are available for only $7.50 with obviously no shipping. The quickest way to start reading this amazing series. Payment is by bank, e-transfer, or PayPal. Go to www.pastliferap.com or email Chris at book@pastliferap.com to get your ebooks. Okay, finally we're back. Okay. So poor Chris Lee, he was just really in rough shape.
Yeah.
in Mexico, and he just got out of the hospital. He lost a
Oh.
lot of weight. Oh my gosh. He doesn't even look like him. I told him, eat,
Mm.
Hmm.
eat, young man, eat.
Send him to Italy. He'll munch, munch.
There you go.
Mangia
The,
fate
the little Italian grandmothers will feed him chestnut. I know that's it.
Absolutely. That's what I need. Tammy, you can't go to bed yet.
Yeah,
Tammy,
no.
Uh-oh.
Tammy she says she has to go to bed. She'll listen to the archives later. 5:30 comes early.
That was good to see you, Tammy.
Yeah, well, Tammy's going to come help me investigate this weekend. I'm looking forward to that. She's
Great.
she's going to come Saturday night, stay till Sunday, and we're going to investigate and find out what the shadow thing is running around my house.
If it says Mike's name, we know. He's like, dude, I was here for the show, but you wouldn't let me on. Go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so now we were talking about we were talking about this about
Right.
the tour guides, how you got back there with the bribes.
With the bribes, yeah.
With the bribes, we need to know about the bribes. Just everyone needs to know. Have that stack of money for the bribes
Yeah.
and the tips.
And I will say this: it does not work at the some of the bigger museums, like the Cairo Museum or the Civilization Museum. Like you can't bribe the guys in the Royal Mummy area to get a photo done. They are on top of those guys.
They probably get
There
paid
was
enough.
there was a group of schoolgirls that was down there. They don't let the tour guides down there either into the Royal Mummy Chambers.
Really?
Yep, no photography, no tour guides. There was a group of girls down there that they were taking a group selfie. It wasn't even by where the mummies were. There was no mummy in the photo.
Did they
The
get
wall
thrown
was
around?
behind them, and they were doing like that sort of thing, as a group. And those guys were on top of them. They they grabbed the teacher. They took the cell phone right out of the girl's hand. They went over to the teacher, and they read them the riot act for that.
Wow.
So it doesn't work at the museums, but on site, on location, at like the temples and all that stuff, you can use money to bribe your way into places.
That's awesome. I found the picture while we were doing
There it is.
Million
Yeah,
commercials.
that's
Oh,
Abydos.
nice.
That is awesome. Now,
Yeah.
was that did someone else do that, or did they do that? Is that
Well, I mean,
allowed
that's the
light?
sunlight. Yeah, the sunlight's coming in through the whole. No, they did that purposely a number of locations, and I had a couple of photos there of where the sun was directly hitting on like some different cartouches or some different, drawings on the wall. So yeah, these were done purposely, where they had some of these like little skylights in there to shine down, and so we used them to do some photos like this, which is fun.
Absolutely. That reminded me of like Indiana Jones with the staff.
Yeah,
The light.
yeah, the staff hurrah. There you go.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. Now, I was looking up things, like all these charts to try to figure out what the hieroglyphs were. Now, did your guide, was he reading the hieroglyphs and telling you, like, were you deciphering yourselves? Like, did you
Yeah,
get a
yeah, he
chart
was
for
he was
him?
showing us some things. Yeah, Muhammad was definitely showing us some things, and I highly recommend go check out Muhammad Ibrahim and his tour group, Guide of Egypt. Absolutely phenomenal, very absolute class act. The way everything's put together.
Well,
From the moment you
that
step off the
put
airplane.
the link for him in the comments when the show's over.
Okay, yeah. From the moment you step off the airplane, they guide you right through, even getting through the airport and all of that stuff.
Wow.
But so yeah, he was showing us a lot of things with the hieroglyphs and how to read some things. And I had taken, like half a. It was 12 classes that I went through. It was half of a course of like 24 classes. I never got through the whole thing to learn some hieroglyphs
to
before
go.
going there. Enough that I could recognize some things and all that. But he was showing us some different things as well with the glyphs. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, like all the different gods and whatnot, the hawk head and the bull, the goose, all these different things. So when you see these, like a goose, all of a sudden, are they talking about that one god, or does that mean something else, or
Yeah, it's interesting because some of the different gods and goddesses will look very similar. Like the differences between like Sekhmet and Tefnut are very, very subtle. The Tefnut is the grandmother of Sekhmet, and they're both basically lioness-headed goddesses. And so you kind of have to like look real close. And he was showing us like some of the differences where Tefnut was more kind of relaxed, where Sekhmet is more. She's going to glare at you a bit. So, so things
More
like
proper.
that.
Right. Now, a lot of when they want to banish you and wipe you from history and all the destruction and the statues getting torn down and the hieroglyphs, were they just mauled? Is that what a lot of these missing chunks are?
Yeah, and that's how you can tell what's modern and what's not, is because you see the ancient defacement, which is really sad. Where they believe that if you wipe out this image, then that will take away the power of either the king or the god, or what they call the netter. Some people, they just try to completely obliterate, like Akhenaten. They didn't even know about him at all until they were trying to do some repair work, and they're finding pieces of texts of him, blocks from statues and stuff like that, buried within these different cylinders, other building parts, and they're finding this stuff. So some of the different kings lists don't mention certain kings. So how do we know what's complete? We're trying to piece it all together. And so it's very challenging to try to know what certain specific things are, because it's been so which drives me nuts today with all of this the tearing down of statues and defacing our modern sculptures and things like that, because it's so frustrating. We're looking back at the past and we're seeing all this defacement.
Because that's not politically correct, or that offends me, or this or that. Oh God, Mr. Potato Head, really? I mean, give me a break.
Pepe Le Pew.
It's stupid things. Wile E. Coyote. I mean,
sorry,
right.
I'm from Canada, French.
A lot of these things, and it's just beyond ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, history repeating itself. So it makes it a challenge. Be cool to do with Moonlight too. Yeah, and there are definitely some things that are aligned either with the moon or with the stars out there. So yeah, they were very much into different astronomical alignments, whether it was sun, moon, or stars. Yeah.
Right. And there were, like the women pharaohs and such, like one of them, I don't remember her name, but was it her brother he was young when she was a queen, and then the pharaoh, whatever, and he wanted her spot, and she all of a sudden died of mysterious causes. But
there was a lot of that, yeah.
And he wiped her off he just obliterated everything. But he ended up being one of the greatest builders, and he built a fabulous city. I think he's the one that came up with the little blocks as opposed to the big blocks, and made that huge city really fast, as opposed to all the other construction that they had done before. It was really neat. I wish I could remember his name, but I just can't. I bombarded myself with so much stuff in the last week of reading and watching and all this, that it's just like, whew,
there's a lot, because you're talking about thousands and thousands of years of history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he built this great big, like a city, an enclosed city, really fast with small blocks. But what he did, I mean, that was like a great accomplishment. But what he didn't do was take care of Egypt, so that Egypt was getting lost as troops were coming in and taking chunks of it. So
yeah,
it was good and bad. But I guess that's kind of like everybody. And then it was kind of close to the Nile. I will have to look this up again after, because it was really a fascinating story. But, he wanted to keep everything tight-knit, and he did, but he was losing everything else.
I believe I put the link to Mohammed's Facebook page in the chat.
Okay, great.
Yeah. It's hard. You don't get the breakdown in thing. You're one of his mutual friends, so
Cool.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for doing that.
doing my job. Doing my job.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to some other pictures over here. Okay. Let's see. So I put that up. We did that one. What? Yeah, we. All right. Know what? We didn't do this. What is this bottom right?
Okay, so to get to that one, we have to go to we have to go to the Queen's Chamber.
Okay.
So,
and that was
because that's a close up of another photo.
That was which one was that? Where are we?
That's inside the Great Pyramid.
Not this.
Okay, yes, this.
Okay.
So the bottom right here, that's within the Queen's Chamber of the Great Pyramid, and there was no sarcophagus or anything like that found in there. It wasn't for the Queen or anything like that. But what they try to say is that with that niche back there, that we're not really sure what it was used for, but maybe there was a statue that was put back in there. Now, for one, the corbelled ceiling is very much like the Grand Gallery, which we know is the whole pyramid is tuned to the key of F sharp, which is actually the resonance of the planet. So the pyramid is tuned to the planet, and the Grand Gallery is a resonance chamber. Yeah, the Grand Gallery is a resonance chamber. This is kind of like a smaller version of the Grand Gallery, so it's there's a resonance within there. Now, it certainly was not any sort of like cubby hole for a statue because of the wall back there. And if you bring up that other photo, I'll show you why. There was some sort of machine or something back in here, because if you look at that wall, for one, you can see the blackened scorch marks where there was fire, and the stone that's back there is vitrified. It started to melt, and you see that all down the back of this stone. So something got extremely hot right there and started to burn.
I wonder what that would be.
Yeah, there's a lot of different theories as to what was in there, but a lot of people believe it was some sort of machine. If you believe the Giza, the Great Pyramid of Giza was a power plant, then that would certainly adhere to that
aliens.
idea. Not necessarily aliens, but some sort of other advanced type of civilization.
Yeah, I mean, like, what would, other than a machine, what could make fire that hot?
Right.
That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, and if you go back to the photo of that one, so there on the left-hand side, that is what they call the sarcophagus in the King's Chamber. A lot of people just call it the box because there's never anybody that was ever found in here. What happened to the lid of it? We have no idea. But what's interesting about this, and this was kind of like a little mini discovery that we made there. Now, it's funny because this thing has been studied for how long? For years and years and years. And what I noticed about it is on the back side of that box, it's completely flat, and then it has these 3 holes along the back side where it looks like something was mounted. On the other 3 sides of the box is basically like this lip that goes around the whole thing. So whatever was there for a lid or a top would have been slid in from the back side, which at first
and then you'd
sight
be able to hold it up.
Yeah. And at first sight or first thought, it's like, okay, fine. So they slid in the lid of the sarcophagus or whatever from the back side. The problem is that I have not, and we saw a lot of sarcophagi there. The Cairo Museum has tons of sarcophagi from around Egypt. None of them are done like this. They're all, from the top placed down. And none of them slide in from a specific side.
So then maybe it was not. Maybe it wasn't a body in there. Maybe it was stuff.
It was, yeah,
Something
it was
like.
something else. The style was very, very different from anything else.
Hmm.
And what Christopher Dunn points out in his work is that the inside of it is so precise. It's more precise than things that we create today. And you
Really?
don't need that kind of precision for, putting a body
But
in there.
yeah. Huh. So then something. Well, then something had to fit like perfectly in there.
Right. What
Hmm.
that was, we have no idea.
Hmm.
He believes that there was some sort of explosion here. There's no way to prove that. I mean, you can see that the corner of the thing is gone. We don't know what happened to the top of it.
No, someone stole it. Someone tried to
Yeah.
break in the side because maybe they couldn't move the top first, so they had to break it so they could get a lever in there or whatever. You know, thieves are people. People. They're horrible. But I
Yeah.
wonder. I mean, I wonder if it was some kind of a machine or something in there. So there's no hieroglyphs in there.
None.
Nothing.
None.
Wow. That's
Which
that's.
is very, very different than,
Whoop.
yeah, the pyramids,
Yeah.
no hieroglyphs. The temples, they're everywhere. I mean, they're all over the columns. They're all over the ceiling. They're on the interior walls, exterior walls. They're everywhere. But the
Right.
pyramids, no, not a single one.
Now, what about scrolls and parchment? Is there a lot of that's survived or any that's
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of papyrus that survived. You see some of that at the Cairo Museum. A lot of them are things like what we call the Book of the Dead, which they never called it the Book of the Dead. We call it that
right?
because it describes the journey to the afterlife. They called it the Book of Going Forth by Day. Or the Book of Anu, or the Amduat. They had a lot of different names depending on which part of the story that they were talking about.
Wow, really, really cool stuff. Okay, what haven't we seen yet? Let's see. I'm gonna go back into the other again. Now, if you guys are just watching, look at this. The original shadow person,
Yep.
documented from what 3,000 years ago, or such. Okay, now this ceiling, these colors are amazing.
Yeah,
The one
that's
underneath
fascinating.
you.
So that's at the I which tomb is that? That's probably Ramses the Sixth. That's at the Valley of the Kings.
Yeah.
Now at the Valley of the Kings, when you get a ticket there, they have all kinds of different tombs that you can enter, but one ticket will get you into 3 tombs, and then some tombs you have to buy a separate ticket, and it's an extra charge. So Ramses the Sixth, which is considered the most beautiful and ornate of all the tombs there. That one is an extra ticket to get into, but you can see from the ceiling there. It's phenomenal.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And are they huge?
Oh yeah, they're. I mean, they're not as big as like the temples, but you're walking through. Yeah, I mean, it's standing room. It goes up, probably like a good 10 feet or whatever.
Wow.
And it's just like, wow, somebody took the time to carve all of this out, and then all the hieroglyphs and the paintings, and I mean, floor to ceiling, it's all done. So it's beautiful.
Now, did they
You have
renovate
different
any
star
of this? Or
charts and things like that in there.
this is it? I mean, did they leave
What's
it
that?
as is, or have they like tried to touch up any colors? Do they do anything like
Um,
that?
no, they haven't tried to like touch up the colors. Like they haven't added paint or anything, but they've done a good job of like cleaning dirt off and things like that.
Okay, just wondering. Okay, so now
I
this
like the one
is
at the top right with Mohammed. So, because the thing he's holding in his hand, it looks like what we would think is like
paranormal
the
activity.
Wi-Fi symbol on your
Oh,
phone.
that's right. That's right. Yes,
Yeah,
Wi-Fi. Because we were
yeah,
all saying that on your post. We said, "How's the
right.
Wi-Fi there?" That is
Yeah,
amazing.
and what it is actually it represents meat. It's supposed to be ribs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. No,
So, but everybody sees
we're
it
gonna
as like the
we're
Wi-Fi,
gonna
And now
stick
we
with
know.
Wi-Fi.
right?
Yes, I would.
It's the original Wi-Fi. Now I know that like a lot of these buildings, they had to have so many columns, otherwise they couldn't hold
Hmm.
up the ceiling because they didn't know about LVL. But um, they're just fabulous.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Now, when did it seems like there's a lot of like the Roman influence on some of these
Mm-mm.
columns, the architecture of it.
These here, not really on a lot of these. I mean, there is there is a bit of a crossover at some point in time,
Not
in
here. Not
which
these ones.
you did have because the Romans came in, uh, but that would have been after the Greeks because so there's a bit of a Greek influence in there, and you'll see some cartouches that have Ptolemy. You'll see Alexander the Great written in there. So yeah, there's you start seeing those influences come into some of the newer architecture.
Hmm. All right, now the bottom middle.
Hmm.
What is
Yeah.
this?
That's the Ark of the Covenant.
Is it the Is it the real ark?
Not
You
the
think? No, I mean,
Ark of the Covenant, but
it's so similar.
it is a Ark of a Covenant. So yeah, the Hebrew concept of the Ark of the Covenant they got from the Egyptians. And so they would have the Egyptians in their temples. They would have a Holy of the Holies, just like the Hebrew temple had the Holy of Holies. And so within that, they had their version of the Ark. And so it was a concept that the Hebrews snagged from the Egyptians.
Geez, well, the Egyptians have to be the original of everything. Didn't the Greeks add the blue paint? Well, they like the blue and the white. What else we got here? Look at these. These are just phenomenal. So there's the genie again.
Yeah, yeah. There's the genie, and then it's funny the one at the bottom left. Everybody calls him Darth Vader, but it's the personification of the Kepler, the dung beetle. But basically, that represents a new cycle, a new day.
Really?
Hmm.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. See, now I would never have thought that. I would think devil or just something
Yeah,
something.
it's very different because it's a straight on depiction of him where most depictions of the kings or the gods or whatever were from the side, but that one's straight on, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. Really odd. Really odd. All right, we did this. Um okay. Oh, so here we go. This is like you're getting to the Valley of the Kings. Is that sign there?
Yeah, some of these are Valley of the Kings. Those different
Ramsey.
signs are some of the different tombs that we visited. The top left, that is a newer site that's in the process of being excavated. So we could only get to see these couple of large statues that are there, but behind there, they're unearthing an old temple back there with more statues. So that
Wow.
one's a work in progress.
That was going to be one of the questions. I'm like, have you seen something new?
Yeah,
That's
one of the places we went to was a very small temple of Isis, and it's just been unearthed in recent years. And really, what is different because of how small it is. It's like, okay, this was just like someplace like local for like the local community, small village or whatever, and they needed a temple of Isis would basically be like a temple of healing, and they just kind of like had the basics in there. A couple of side rooms. They had their holy of holies, some hieroglyphs, but not a lot. It just kind of gave you the basics for it. This is a temple of Isis. You can come here for healing, and that was about it. So we got to see a smaller one rather than because a lot of these that we went to, like Abydos and Dara, I mean, they were massive. Or like Luxor and Karnak. Those two were both just huge.
ah. All right, been watching for an hour. This has been great. I need to go to bed since I wake up early for work. Everyone has to go to bed. This is more important than sleep. I just have
Well,
to
tomorrow's
say that.
Friday. The weekend's almost here. You can catch up on Saturday.
Right? Yeah. You just share the archive. It's fine. It's fine. I'll let you go.
We won't hold it
All right.
against
Now
you.
we're pointing to a lot of different things here. So
Let's see. We're at Okay, the two with Johnny there on the top. That's at Edfu. That's when we're going over the Atlantis story.
Okay.
So, and the one all the way over there in the top, that might be also be Edfu. Yeah, all these look like Edfu. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, I banded some together right.
Yeah, and Shuzana there at the bottom right, it looks like she's pointing at another Stargate. It's hard to tell because it's small,
It's
but
small. I know. I
yeah.
could go through my pictures off camera and try to get them back up there, but all I can say is, you want to see these pictures better, go to Mike Ricksecker's timeline and just scope all the pictures, because this is
I
not
did
all of
upload a
them.
lot of photos. Yeah.
This is not all of them. I was living vicariously through all these pictures. Like, all right, this one here, the top center, what is that about?
Yeah, top center. So again, we are looking at you see the snake. And I mean, basically, it's like a 5-headed snake, and again, the snake is a representation of energy, and so you have basically the corpse there, that is encircled by this energy. So basically, it's kind of getting the energy together and preparing the the body for the afterlife.
Wow!
Because we need that energy to make that journey.
Wow. Now, did you see any of those jars and all that kind of stuff with that put the body parts in and whatnot?
Oh, the canopic jar. Hang on
Yeah.
a second. I got something for you.
You got one?
He brought one home?
Get out!
This wasn't. This was not really
That's a
used by an ancient Egyptian. It's a replica. Now, this in itself is 100 years old. Yeah, we went to a alabaster shop that's been in the family for like 100 years, and in their back room, they have their historic section that was basically like their grandfathers, created this. And so there's a set of 4. I said, hang on to the other 3 for me because it was kind of pricey. So I do have one.
Well, awesome! That's great.
Nice.
I'm so glad that you did that. What else did you bring home? I mean, I know you brought home.
Yeah, I brought home like some papyrus, incense and spices, and got some little statuettes for relatives, and I got Nicole some perfume. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, we got. I'm not wearing it right now, but we also got matching necklaces, and yeah.
Yay!
It basically has our names in a cartouche. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I'd be at
how
the incense and spices for days.
Oh,
Yeah, we went and got
did you
like
bring
real
home an
frankincense.
Did you bring home one of the
Yeah.
outfits that you were trying on?
Oh yeah, the photos of me in the Galabea. Yeah, I bought that.
Good, because that's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. We all got up in the Galabeas and we had a fun night. Yeah.
Oh my God, what a trip! What a trip! So now, did you meet some new people that you're gonna be friends with for like the rest of your life?
Oh yeah. I mean, you're with these people for 2 weeks, so
Right.
so yeah, you definitely make some bonds and connections and all that, and yeah, along the way, Mohammed and I we're talking about, and I think I mentioned it earlier, like a year and a half from now, doing another trip. 'Cause we had some nice, good conversations. So
Now you're gonna open it up for like friends and family members and things like that to join you on this trip.
if they want to come along,
Gina's
yeah.
hinting.
Right. Hint,
Hint.
hint. Bob, you still watching? Bob, hint.
Bob, save up the money.
Christmas
But you ain't
birthday.
getting my
There you
sweater.
go.
Yeah, Christmas birthday, Merry Birthmas.
There you go. Yeah, it's a year and a half away. You got some time.
Right? Yeah, that would be just so amazing. But I would have to take some paranormal equipment with me.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I took, like within the Great Pyramid, I had tri-field meter. I also brought a chromatic tuner because, like I was talking about before, with it being tuned to F sharp, and actually the box in there is tuned to the key of A, and so we're running some different resonance tests within there. Now, what's interesting is you can't actually, they don't want you taking photos or video of you doing that. And the archaeologists that let us in there, anytime that, I'm sitting there, I got the device and, okay, I got, the camera, and he's like, no, you can't do that. Okay,
Oh,
fine.
no,
And he'd leave the room. I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
So
real quick, real quick.
I can't post it publicly, but I have it,
Yeah.
in my own collection of,
Well, send it
here
to
it
me
is.
because
Yeah.
I want to see that because that's the part that really fascinates me too. I'd
Hmm.
like to see the different outcomes. Now, if you were doing a documentary or something like that, how would you and who would you? How would you go about it? Who would you have
Yeah,
to contact?
that's the trick. So I did film for Shadow Dimension Part 2 out there, but to get yeah, so because I could not get the video, or I can't make public the videos of me using the devices. It's basically going to be storytelling. Here are the sites. Here's Johnny. Here's me. Here's Muhammad. That sort of stuff. Here are the locations. Here's a story. To get the footage of using the devices and all that, you have to get permission through the Egyptian Antiquities Authority. So
Yeah,
that's
they run
a neat
everything.
trick.
Huh? They
Yeah,
do.
and it's
That's
they're
tough. They're
they're
tough.
picky.
Yeah, they're
It's
tough.
funny, the things that they will allow and the things that they don't allow. So,
Well, it depends on that mood that day.
hmm
Wake up on the right side of the camel.
yeah,
Who knows? Who knows? Oh God, that was bad. I'm sorry I said that. All right, I think we actually looked at all these pictures we did. Yes. I want
yeah.
to
A lot of
go.
those are
I
Temple of
want to go.
Hatshepsut. Yeah, so the Stargates were in there, and
Yeah.
the
The
see the
center. The
Rams on the
center.
side. Those are that's going to be Karnak. The top right.
Oh,
That's going to be
okay.
Karnak, because that was a temple in Aries for Aries.
Yeah, 'cause that's a ton of rams going all the way
Hmm.
across there. That's just phenomenal. Now, are they all identical? Like,
Yeah. That's the thing, is they are all identical.
wow.
The obelisk there, that's also at Karnak. Now, what's interesting about that is we went to the site in Aswan where they have what they call the unfinished obelisk. So it's an obelisk that they did not complete, still there at the quarry. But I asked the question, hey, so because at the quarry you could see where they had removed other obelisks where they had carved them out, and so I had asked, are some of those obelisks that would have been created at the quarry that we were at, are they here at Karnak? And and the answer was yes, some of them would have come here. Now, sad thing is there are more obelisks now outside of Egypt than there actually are in Egypt. They've been, they're in
Just
London, New York,
taken away. Yeah.
Rome. Yeah, they got taken away. But the one that is, where there's two still at Karnak, but the big one that's there measures out almost perfectly to a T one of the spots that we saw there at the quarry. So it's kind of interesting. We got to see the spot at
So
the
you know
quarry
exactly where
where
it
it was
came
taken
from,
from, and
right?
then boom, there it is
Wow.
at Karnak. Yeah, so that
Wow.
was really cool.
Wow. They should do like reenactment things out there of like how, raising one, with the
They don't
sand and all
know.
that kind of stuff.
They have no idea. Yeah, they talk about doing that with the sand, and no, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I thought I
It
saw. Oh,
doesn't. No,
someone
no,
did
that
one
that
with a smaller version on an island.
yeah, it really doesn't work. The physics of it with obelisks that are that big, they don't work. And there's also a problem of you're talking about something that's like 1,000 tons, 700 to 1,000 tons, and the trick is, how do you get it from the quarry onto the boat? They haven't figured out how they did that. So, because
Right.
they
Oh, wow,
have
thank you.
they see depictions of, okay, here's a boat with an obelisk on it going down the Nile. They have
Yeah.
depictions of that.
Right.
They have no idea how they got it from the quarry onto the
Yeah.
boat
Well,
and then off the
I've
boat.
seen some of the things like they were doing things about Easter Island and those figures and how they would move those figures and such, and they were showing things how they could get those onto boats. You'd have to lower. It was something you lower the boat, you get the thing out, and then the boat would raise up again and then take it away. It was amazing. Again, I watched it so long ago. I can't remember. I can't remember why I walked in the room.
Yeah, I mean,
You
yeah,
know.
we're trying to put modern concepts to to an ancient methodology that we just don't know. You had like Coral Castle, Edward Lee Scanlon. He said he had figured out the secrets of the ancients, where he by himself, was creating this castle down there, raising these large blocks with we don't know what, but he had figured something out. A lot of people believe it was magnetism and sound resonance.
That could do some, but I don't know about tons.
Yeah, they figured out some ancient secret way, but
yeah. Again,
yeah.
Now I'm going to go back to wherever this picture is with the. Is this the one? There you go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Spaceships and helicopters and everything else.
Yeah, that's at Abydos, and it's way up there too. The mainstream will try to. Yeah, the mainstream will try to say, well, this is erosion, but it's like okay. No, that's not erosion. You can see where there is erosion, and part of the things chipped away on the right hand side, but no, that's not. Now it might to me, I see a helicopter, a tank, and maybe it's a plane or a spaceship or whatever. Or some people think maybe it's a submarine.
I think the one on the top could be some kind of a ship, but that's an alien ship for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
and so. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it through our modern eyes, and we're giving it the context of what we are familiar with.
Right. And this is what we.
It's certainly
about
not
the show.
Yeah, it's certainly not anything that they normally, created glyphs for, because we don't have those glyphs anywhere else. So we're not sure what exactly that they were creating. But to say it was erosion is a bunch of bunk. We know it was not erosion.
No, absolutely not.
Erosion does not make things so precise.
No.
The lines and everything else was just like way too perfect
because
for
it's
erosion.
still because the lines are still crisp.
I'm gonna side with your dad and say that it is future us going back in time to help them. So it's us helping them with our technology. Just we haven't been born yet doing it.
Yeah, when I was talking with my dad over the weekend, it was funny because, he's funny because he doesn't really believe in very much paranormal or anything like that. But talking with him about this stuff, he was like all on board. He's like, it's got to be those alien guys, or our future selves went back into the past and created this stuff. So yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense. I mean, because you never know. Technology is insane. They're already making things that you can transport items like an apple, and they're working on transporting people like Star Trek. All those things. It's science now. Time travel already exists, although it's in space, but it does exist. It's quantum physics. It's doable. You can.
Yeah, any of our science that we have now was previously either pseudoscience or science fiction, but now we're able to do it. So
right, and then it's going to advance.
Yeah,
and then time travel will be like nothing in the future. So that could be us. And
it could be. People laughed at Tesla when he said, one day you're going to have be able to put the knowledge of the world in your pocket. Well,
right.
We have the cell phone.
Exactly.
We have access to the knowledge of the world right there.
Yeah. No encyclopedias needed. We grew up, looking up everything in school.
Oh yeah, card catalog at the library, and yeah.
Exactly.
Decimal system.
Yes. No one knows anything about how a library works anymore because you have Kindle. I mean, I love books, right? But it's my generation.
Yeah, you have a few books behind you. Yeah.
Just a couple. That's only a smidgen of what you can see.
I know there's more. There's more like behind me and underneath, and because there's like 3 more.
She ran out of bookshelf space.
So I got some.
I know the feeling.
I have another library downstairs too. It's got more books. So. Keeps growing. I'll have to have a book sale one of these days. But I like my books. I don't want to get rid of them. We'll have to add your books to the collection. I don't have your books in my collection.
Uh-oh.
Sorry to say. And I'm going to put that picture up of your book. So when people, there's so many pictures.
Sure.
Here we go. There's not all of the books, but if you go to
It's a lot of them.
Ricksecker.com, you can see a lot of the books there, but they are available on Amazon and other spots. Oh, my dog just came in and out, scared me. but but a lot of paranormal books, a lot of you have to go the Walk in the Shadows, so the Encounters with the Paranormal series, and all of that. So he does everything. He's into all the mysteries of our world. Which is
Sure.
fascinating. I absolutely love it. And the shadow figures, you got to go to the document. Let me go to the banners here, right here. Okay, the Shadow Dimension docu-series, go to www.shadowdimension.com and do that. This is important. ConnectedUniversePortal.com. Go there, sign up, try it for a month for free. If you like it, give me your $10 a
Stick
month.
around.
And there's a lot of information. He puts up a lot of information because he does a lot of things. If you guys know Mike, he's been on a lot of shows. He's done a lot of documentaries. Author. He's very invested in getting information out for you, and as are we.
Absolutely.
So that's the key. Let's see. Microfiche. Oh, here we go. Yeah,
Microfiche. Yes, I remember microfiche.
Yeah, and thank God those
Yep.
days are over. Yes, it is. I mean, but then again, I get stuck on the computer, especially when I'm looking up things. June.
Oh yeah, you can get lost for a while. I love going through like old newspaper archives, which there's so much of that online these days,
Yeah,
and you can just really dive into that. Yeah.
yeah. To find the old lost, and go
They say
think of
everything
old
old is new again.
conspiracy, old conspiracy theories and such. It would be awesome.
Well, I mean, speaking of Egypt, you go back into it's late 1800s. You'll find articles there from George Reisner, who was an early Egyptologist, early explorer out there in Egypt, and you'll find articles and drawings and illustrations of secret chambers within the Sphinx. There's a hole in the top of the head of the Sphinx. They have filled it in now. Some people believed it was like a hole to mount a crown on top of the Sphinx or whatever, but according to George Reisner, it was actually a passageway where you could get down inside the Sphinx, and there were different hidden chambers, and then beneath the Sphinx were like temples and things like this. So, the Rosicrucians believed in temples under the Sphinx, and of course you have Edgar Cayce talking about there being secret areas under the left paw. So extremely,
Right. I mean, it has
extremely
to be there
interesting.
for a reason, and that odd shape has to be for a reason. Those legs are really long, so that's like to me, it seems like it would be like a grand entryway, or a staircase
The
going
riddle
down,
of the Sphinx,
or
yeah.
something,
Somebody knows.
something, yeah, someone.
Well, it's funny, like Zahi Hawass, he'll downplay everything out there, but yet then there's a photo of him coming up out of this little tunnel from the base of the Sphinx. It's like you can't sit there and say, "Yeah, there's nothing going on down here."
Yeah,
Here,
no, I know. Yeah,
here's me coming up out of the
move
hole.
on. Move along.
There you
Nothing to see here, unless you got money.
It's
But
funny.
that would be big bucks to bribe that to get in there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, when
that
John Anthony West and Robert Schoch were doing their research back in the early 1990s, where they were doing that research on the erosion of the enclosure area, they started doing some seismic testing there, and did discover there were open cavities underneath the Sphinx. Well, within 2 hours, boom, they stopped. The Egyptian authority came out and just stopped them. They were like, "Nope, you're done."
Wow.
So they just don't want. They know. Well, they are like they are. They rule
Yeah.
everything.
Well,
They know
Can you bring up that photo of the Sphinx again? So off, you can barely see it, but off on the right-hand side there, you can kind of see there's a wooden walkway leading up to the Sphinx there. We didn't have access to that, but what people have been saying is that for years that at late at night, they're coming out and lifting up that wooden walkway and they're digging. So now that's a story. We don't necessarily know it's true. Of course, show me the photos or video of them doing it, but that's what people are saying.
Right. Well, what about like LiDAR?
If they would allow it. If they would allow it.
Because if you could come in there even with a plane, because they get the big, huge LiDARs that you can mount on the bottom of a plane.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
See everything.
It's what you can get permission to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Oh my God! So now you went to so many. All right, list all the places that you went and the places that you want to go to.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, we had, let's see, Dasher, which has the bent pyramid, the red pyramid, and there was another little one in there. Then there was Saqqara, which has the step pyramid, a bunch of tombs, temple area, and all that around there. Giza, of course, has the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, the temple in front of the Sphinx, the other pyramids, all that stuff back there. Then we went down to Aswan, so we did Esna, Luxor, Karnak, Edfu, Abydos, and Dendara. We did some different museums. There's a lot of stuff we did.
Yeah, I know. In 2 weeks. I mean, I would be.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
I need about 2 months to recover from this 2 weeks.
Right. Oh, I'm still feeling it. Trust me. We did not do Abu Simbel because it was just going to be too hot. We would have had to a lot of us were dying from the heat. But that would have been getting up at 3 a.m, having a 3-hour drive out there to where we stopped, then a 45-minute walk to the temple itself, get an hour on site, 45-minute walk back to the bus, and a 3-hour drive. And they were saying it was going to be upwards to almost 130 degrees there.
Oh,
so
good God.
we tweaked that one off the list.
Yeah. Well,
but it's still an amazing location that
sure.
I'd love to get to.
I'll look at pictures. I'll look at your pictures.
So, and I would like to get closer to the Sphinx. We had the special permission to get into, the areas that we did in the Great Pyramid. We got into the subterranean chamber and all that stuff in there, which was fantastic. Next time, I'd love to get closer to the Sphinx because we were kind of basically in the public area for that. And that kind of was one of those you pick and choose what you're going to do. We wanted to be in the Great Pyramid for the start of the Kepler cycle on the solstice. So that means we can't do special stuff with the Sphinx this time. So maybe next time.
That's okay. Yeah, right? Because that's epic.
Yeah. It was really epic. Yes. Yeah. Especially with how much time that we had in there. It was only our group. We're there right on the summer solstice. We got into the subterranean chamber. And even the Queen's chamber, they've been really limited as far as letting people in there right now. So we got to do that as well, which was awesome.
Again.
So where is your next dream trip to?
Well, I mean, I have all kinds of places I want to go to, but I do have a trip that's already scheduled next year for Ireland, next July 1st through the 9th. So that's Ancient Mysteries of Ireland tour, which it was sold out. But I think we had a couple of openings pop up, so you might still be able to sneak in there.
Where do they sign up for that?
Well, you can go to MikeRicksecker.com and you'll see the link there on the side to get into that. And it's through Mysterious Adventures Journeys, or Mysterious Adventures Tour.com. Yeah.
But, all right, MikeRicksecker.com is easy enough. But there's all your YouTubes and Twitters and Instagrams.
Thank you.
The only one I missed putting into the chat room was the Instagram. Sorry about that.
Oh,
that's all right.
That's all
it's just the Instagram is Mike Ricksecker. So
yeah,
easy enough.
They're all right there. Again, share this show. Watch the show if you're listening, because we just showed too many.
The pictures are amazing. And the explanation is one thing, but without the picture to see it, it just doesn't do it justice. So go check out our website. our website. Go check out our YouTube. And check out Mike's Facebook site. It's interesting. I kind of have to.
And all the
Shoot.
books.
Oh yeah.
And the series.
Okay, of all the books, Mike, what's if somebody has to just choose one book, which is the one that you suggest?
Choose the latest one, A Walk in the Shadows. You'll get the whole rundown on shadow phenomenon. You get a lot of history in there as well. You get to learn a lot about me because several of my personal experiences are in there, as well as personal experiences from other people. And we get into interdimensional beings within that. We get into ETs. We get into UFO phenomenon. A little bit on time travel, simulated universe. So it gets into a lot of different concepts and kind of, it almost does like a what if. So what if we're in a simulated universe? What would be a shadow person within the simulated universe? That kind of thing. After breaking down, like all the different types, like, the hat wearing ones or the hooded figures. We do get into sleep paralysis, old hack syndrome, and all that stuff too. So,
right. Well, fabulous.
Yep.
That is awesome. I need that book.
We need to get a signed copy of that book, don't we, Julie?
I know.
There you
go. Do you know the author?
Section. I do know him. We'll probably see him at some event coming up. I mean, we're going to be doing a few events now this year. So
I'm getting my passport. I'm going to travel because I'm up in Canada.
There
you
go. Yeah. Well, he's away now. He's moved to Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio. Yep, yeah. Cleveland area.
Yeah.
So many people in Ohio. What is this?
I know. I got to go to West Virginia next week. So I'm kind of in the neck of the woods. All right, we got some comments here. All right, we are already past our closing, and I know we are, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing any.
No, there's a lot of people who popped in at the last minute, but they will check out the archives,
Fantastic.
Which is cool.
Yes.
Also, remember, we have the audio version, which will be going out. But again, audio's not enough. You need to see the pictures. I mean, yes, Gina and I are gorgeous. Mike is kind of cute, but you need to see the pictures. You need to see what's going on, what he's talking about. He's great at explaining, but it doesn't do it justice unless you see exactly what he's discussing. Get your butts over to the YouTube channel.
Exactly.
There we go. And if you want to get all of the inside videos, the travel blog, all that, connecteduniverseportal.com goes through every single day, videos from each day. The free part of connecteduniverseportal.com has the recap and some photos, but if you get into the membership side, again, 30-day free trial, you can get all the videos in the full travel blog for that.
And that's awesome because they do some stuff.
Yep.
You want to see it. You definitely want to see it. Now I got to get back to my brand and find my exit thing. My thing has never been so loaded with stuff on the side here ever. But I just have to say thank you so much for sharing your trip with us. And again, people go to his site and just look at his page and look at all the pictures because they're just phenomenal.
Yeah, because once you start,
thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to have you on again sometime.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We could maybe talk more paranormal.
Especially after Ireland.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Ireland's going to be fantastic too.
I would love to go to Ireland. I want to go there. I want to go to the castles. I got to do all.
Oh, we're hitting a lot of castles. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I should be in a castle.
You live in a castle.
My mini version of version of.
She's a mini version of castle, and I'm building one with her swear Germany. So okay.
Okay. All right. We will see you all next week. We're going to have Mara Bishop on, and we're going to be talking about shamanism and shamanism for every day, and like 365 little book that you can have on your nightstand table and have a little shamanistic quote for the day. But very cool. Very cool. She's a really neat lady. And Myra Bishop, you'll love her. And we'll see you then. So hang with us for a second, Mike. All right? So see you all next week. Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.